My parents told my kids they couldn't come to the family Christmas photo. You don't really fit the photo, Mom said. My brother posted the picture, perfect family. I liked it. Then I sent a group text, beautiful photo, also I'm pausing. The monthly $3,800 transfer to the family account. Dad called 4 minutes later. What family account? I replied. Mom had everyone line up by height in front of the tree. Red sweaters in the back, buffalo plaid in the front. The photographer clapped and said, "Okay, big family, let's do this." Maya and Eli squeezed my hands. They had picked their own sweaters. Maya's had a tiny fox. Eli had a navy one with a crooked snowman. We were standing to the side, waiting for instructions, doing that nervous shuffle kids do when they're trying to be good. Mom looked at them without looking at them. "Oh," she said to me, and then louder, so everyone heard. "You two can sit on the stairs. We need just the family for this one." Eli blinked. "We're family," he whispered. "Just for me." "You don't really fit the photo," Mom said, smiling like she was saying something helpful. "It's a theme." My ears buzzed. The photographer kept smiling. My brother Sean was already positioning his kids at the front, matching dresses, matching bows. Dad clapped his hands like he was herding sheep. My sister-in-law said, "It's just logistics, sweetie," and touched Maya's shoulder, moving her toward the stairs. My throat closed so tight I could feel my pulse against my tongue. My hands shook. I didn't move. I didn't make a scene. That old muscle memory kicked in, the one where I swallow hard and pretend it's fine. Maya sat on the third step. Eli sat next to her and folded his hands. The photographer said, "Okay, say cheese," and my brother's kids yelled it like a war cry. Mom's head tilted at the perfect angle. Dad put his arm around Sean. I watched my children watch them. After the shutter clicked, the photographer took a few more. Just siblings, just grandkids, not all clearly, Mom and Dad with their babies. When it was over, Mom turned, beamed at me, and said, "We'll do one with you later." We didn't do one later. I sliced ham-past rolls, smiled until my cheeks ached. I packed leftovers. When we were in the car, Eli asked, "Do we not match?" Maya stared at her lap. I said my usual, "We match us," and drove home on legs that felt like someone else's. An hour later, my phone buzzed. Sean had already posted the photo, the caption, "Perfect family." I stared at my kids' knees in the background, toes pointed together on the stairs like they were trying to take up less space. I clicked like. Then I opened the family group text and typed, "Beautiful photo. Also, I'm pausing the monthly $3,800 transfer to the family account." 4 minutes later, Dad called. The screen lit up Dad. When I answered, he didn't say hello. He said, "What family account?" "I'm 38. I live in Seattle and I'm a CPA. I married Alex 3 years ago. He's a nurse at UW, and we have 2 kids at home. Maya is 10. We adopted her when she was 3, tiny and serious with a love for foxes and soft pencils. Eli is 7. He's my stepson, but in this house, he's my son. His mom died when he was 2. He climbs like a squirrel and puts ketchup on everything. I am good with money. That's my job and my personality. I like spreadsheets. I like subscriptions that renew on the 1st. I like when the budget matches the bank account. For a long time, my family liked that about me too, or they liked what it did for them. The family account started 2 years ago. Mom called me after dinner one night. Her voice was thin. "We're behind on property taxes again. The medical stuff. And your dad, you know how he is with numbers." I knew how he was with numbers. Allergic. "We could set up an account. You all pay into something transparent. Everyone contributes. That would be a blessing." She said, "You're good at this." So I opened a savings account at Puget Sound Credit Union. I named it Family Support. Mom and I were on it. She insisted we add Sean for emergencies so he could get gas on his way to check on them. I set a recurring transfer from my checking for $3,800 on the 1st of every month. The math made sense at the time, $2,100 to cover their mortgage shortfall, $450 for Mom's medications, $350 for utilities, $300 as a cushion, and the rest for surprises. My sister promised to send $200 a month. Sean said he'd throw in when his hours picked up. No one else ever sent $1. Since then, the account paid Dad's property taxes, twice Mom's new glasses, and Sean's emergency tires. It paid for a water heater that broke and Christmas for the littles one year when Mom said she didn't have it in her to shop. I bought the gifts and wrapped them, signed them, and watched my kids get a generic kids tag stapled to a bag of orange slices. It wasn't a secret, at least not to the people using it, but it was a thing we didn't name out loud at parties. I have always been the backup plan. In college, I was the one who sent $50 for mom's phone bill from my work-study job. At 25, I paid the $1 200 mechanic bill for Sean's car. No interest until he gets back on his feet. At 30, I put $12 400 on my card for their roof when the shingles curled up like burnt chips. I bought the picnic table for the backyard. I booked the Airbnb for the family summer reunion last year. My card because I get points to the tune of $4 800. No one reimbursed me. They offered to bring napkins. There have always been comments about my kids, little things said like jokes. The first year we brought Maya home, Mom took a picture of all the grandbabies and later posted it with a caption, "My whole heart." Except Maya wasn't in the frame because she was napping. When I mentioned it, she said, "Oh, honey, I'll do another one sometime." She didn't. When Eli came to live with us, Mom was kind to his face and called him Bud. But in the group text I saw, "Are we buying for Eli too?" like he was a question mark. Last Christmas, everyone had stockings with names and glitter. There was Grandpa, Grandma, Sean, Julie, Leah, Mark, Olivia. There was an extra one on the end that said guests. One year at Cousin's Day, a water park thing, I paid for 14 tickets, $642. My kids were told the wristbands were all gone and they could just watch because they came late. They sat on a bench and ate pretzels while I counted my breaths. I told myself it was a mix-up. I told myself it was the chaos of big families. I told myself it was never the last straw. What I didn't do was tell them no when the next thing came up. "Can you transfer me $600? Sean's truck has a weird noise. Do you have your magic card?" "Mom's prescription isn't covered. The AC died. We'll pay you back." The family account made it easy to say yes without saying yes. I thought the money would soften everything. I thought if I kept the lights on and the fridge stocked, if I paid, I could buy a seat for my kids at a table that kept moving away from us. This fall, I said no once. Sean wanted me to co-sign a loan for a fishing boat. It wasn't a boat. It was a small yacht with a fancy name. "It's an investment," he said. "I'll do charters." I told him no. Calmly, I told him my priority was our kids' college funds. He called me selfish and hung up. Since then, there were more little slights. My kids' names left off the starting a family calendar because we didn't know your schedule. A group chat titled grandkids that I wasn't added to, and my kids weren't in. The joke about blood when Mom showed off a blanket she had made with photos of each grandchild. There was a blank square in one corner. "I ran out of ink," she said. I offered to print photos for her. "No, it's fine," she said. So when Mom said, "You don't really fit the photo," my brain filled in the rest. The part she never says, "You don't really fit the family." And I remembered that week after week, my money fit just fine. Dad barked, "What family account?" Dad barked, "What family account?" I stood in my kitchen and stared at the sink. The dish soap bubbles had a weird rainbow sheen. I was focusing on ridiculous things because the big thing was too big. The account ending in 4,421 at Puget Sound Credit Union. The one Mom asked me to fund so you wouldn't fall behind. The one you used for property taxes in April. The one Sean's card pulls from for gas. Silence. Then, "We never asked you for that." "Your mother you did. It's okay to say you did." I set up a recurring transfer for $3 800 on the first of every month. I'm pausing it. "You can't just—" "I can," I said, and I did. "I won't fund a family my kids aren't part of." He made a sound like someone had taken his chair away. "This is about a photo. This is about a pattern. The photo is just what I can show you." He said my name like a warning. "You're overreacting." I'm setting a boundary. I took a breath. "I'll talk when you're ready to talk about all of it. Right now, I need to get my kids to bed." He hung up without saying goodbye. I put my phone face down on the counter and stood there heart thudding. I didn't trust myself to move until the adrenaline ebbed. Alex leaned against the doorway. He had heard my end. He didn't say finally, even though he could have. He just handed me a glass of water. "You okay?" he asked. I'm shaking, but yeah. His hand brushed my back between my shoulder blades once a steady line. "You go do it," he said. I went upstairs, changed into sweatpants, and brought my laptop to the dining table. For once, the numbers were my problem to solve, not everyone else's. I logged into Puget Sound Credit Union. The interface is blue and clunky. Transfers and payments, scheduled. There it was. Recurring transfer checking X, 1,147 to savings. X, 4,421, $3 800 monthly on the 1st. I clicked edit. My cursor hovered over pause long enough that my hand went numb. I clicked it. The screen asked, "Are you sure?" I clicked yes. The status flipped to paused. There was a little line underneath. Next transfer, none. My chest eased a millimeter. I took a screenshot. I saved it to a folder called Family. I forwarded the bank's auto email. Your scheduled transfer has been paused. To myself and to Alex. I closed my laptop and folded my hands on top like I was finished with homework. Then I opened the family group chat and typed what I had already sent in my head. Beautiful photo. Also, I'm pausing the monthly $3.800 transfer to the family account. On the other end, fireworks. Mom, honey, don't be dramatic. Sean, are you kidding me? Over a picture. Julie, I think we're confusing things. It was a theme shoot. Mom, this is cruel before Christmas. Sean again. You're letting your husband control you. Alex didn't respond. He was next to me with his arm on my chair. I didn't reply there. I answered Dad's call instead because I knew if I didn't, he'd show up. After he hung up on me, the texts kept coming. We need to talk. Funds are low. The power bill is due. You can't just pull out. The account isn't yours to play with. You owe your parents. That last one stuck to my teeth. I owe my parents. I closed my eyes. Upstairs, I tucked Maya in. She was quiet. It's not you, I said, smoothing her hair. It's them. I know, she said. She always knows more than she says. Can we make our own photo? Yeah, we can make 100. In my head, I went through the numbers. With the transfer paused, our budget actually looked like ours. I saw the line that said 529 contributions. I saw dance lessons and soccer cleats. I saw emergency fund. I saw a small life we had built that kept getting siphoned to prop up a bigger, louder one. The pausing wasn't a threat. It was me removing my hand from a faucet that had been stuck on. I wasn't punishing anyone. I was stopping a habit. My hands had steadied by the time I came back downstairs. Alex had made tea. He slid me the mug. On his phone, he had the Instagram post open, zoomed into the corner, where 2 small pairs of knees sat on a staircase. By morning, I had 8 missed calls and 13 texts. Most were from Mom. Your father is upset. I didn't mean anything by what I said. You know how pictures are. We'll do one with all the kids. You'll ruin Christmas. Then I have a prescription that needs to be picked up. The account is for that. I typed, I hope you can take care of it. Then I deleted it and typed, I'm not your backup bank. I looked at the words for a full minute before I hit send. Sean called twice. When I didn't answer, he sent, this is about you being jealous. My kids match because we care. Your kids were fine on the stairs. I blocked him, then unblocked him because I knew it would be a whole thing if I did. Instead, I set my phone to do not disturb. At lunch, there was a knock. I checked the camera. Dad on the porch, hands in his jacket, jaw tight. Alex opened the door a crack. Is this a yelling visit or a talking visit? He asked. He says things like that. It takes the heat out and leaves the intent. I want to talk to my daughter, Dad said. I stepped into the doorway. Hi, Dad. He looked past me like a person glancing into a store. I didn't know about any account, he said. Then you know now, I said. It's paused. What are we supposed to do? He asked. We have bills. So do we, I said. You're both adults. I can give you names of financial counselors. He glared. Your mother is sick. She has a primary care doctor and a plan. I've been paying for 2 years. My kids are being left out before my eyes. It was a photo, he said again, quieter. It was a pattern, I said. I won't fund a family my kids aren't part of. He rubbed his forehead. He looked tired in a way I don't remember him looking when I was little. You're making me the beggar. I didn't post perfect family, I said, and my voice came out thinner than I wanted. I swallowed. I'm not trying to make you anything. I'm trying to stop making it too easy for everyone to pretend there aren't consequences. He didn't like that word, consequences. He shoved his hands deeper into his pockets like he wanted to stuff the word back in. Your brother has kids. So do I said. We stood there for a long beat. He huffed out a breath like he had jogged up a hill, then turned and walked down the steps. He didn't say goodbye that time either. That afternoon, my cousin Jenna texted me. Saw the pic. Saw the stairs. I'm sorry. Then we're doing cookie Saturday. Come over. Kids too. When I didn't answer right away, she added, I have the good sprinkles. So we went. It was small. Her wife, their kids, plus us. The table was covered in parchment paper and frosting and bowls. No one coordinated outfits. Nobody asked whose blood matched whose. Maya stood at the counter and piped little fox faces on gingerbread. Eli built a cookie man with 6 buttons and no head and laughed so hard he hiccuped. Jenna hugged me in the kitchen and said, I always liked you more. Anyway, it made me laugh, and then it made me cry. Not a big cry, just the kind where your eyes fill, and you pretend you're allergic to cinnamon. On Sunday, Mom texted a picture of a power bill. Can you just do this one? I'll pay you back Friday. I typed and deleted 3 different versions of no before landing on I'm not sending money. I meant what I said. You're punishing me, she wrote. I'm protecting my family, I wrote. When you're ready to include my kids, like you include the others, we can talk about other things. She sent, I always include them, and then a photo of a bag of gummy bears she had left for them last week. It made my stomach hurt. Word got around. My Aunt Denise called and said, I always told them you weren't an ATM. My sister called and said, this is your mess. Fix it. Which was funny because she had contributed 0 to the account she had promised to help with. I told her the same thing I told everyone. The transfer is paused. I'm not your backup bank. At school drop-off, Maya hesitated. Will Grandma be mad at me? No, I said. Grandma will be mad at me. That's okay. Are we still family? Eli asked. Always, I said. He nodded and ran to the line. A payment did not go through somewhere because Sean texted me a photo of a declined card screen. Hope you're happy, he wrote. I didn't answer. I was in a particular way. Not happy like balloons. Happy like the first day you don't chew your nails. The property tax bill was due the following Friday at 9:00 p.m. Mom texted, we're going to get a fee. This is so unnecessary. If you just hadn't made a scene. I looked at Alex. He was reading a book, legs tucked up. He raised an eyebrow. I shook my head and put my phone face down. Monday morning, I got a call from a number I didn't know. This is Karen from Puget Sound Credit Union. We've had some unusual activity in the family support account. 2 attempted withdrawals with insufficient funds. We wanted to let you know. I thanked her. I hung up and sat very still. You'd think I'd feel smug. I just felt relieved that the world didn't end. Bills will come and go. People will figure things out when they have to. Tuesday, Jenna sent me a link to a local photographer. She does candid family stuff, she said. Not matchy-matchy. I booked a session. I picked a Saturday morning when the light in our living room is soft. I told the kids to wear what made them feel like themselves. Maya wore the fox sweater again. Eli wore the snowman. Alex wore a shirt with a coffee stain he couldn't get out. I wore a blue cardigan with a snag on the cuff. We took a photo on the couch, all elbows and knees, someone's sock inside out. The photographer asked, can you all sit how you usually sit? We did. Maya leaned into me. Eli leaned into Alex. Our knees touched. No one told anyone to move. Christmas Eve, we didn't go to my parents' house. We told them a week before. We're staying home this year, I texted. If you want to stop by for an hour, we'll be here. Mom sent a paragraph about traditions and grandparents deserve, and then nothing else. No one stopped by. Alex and I set out 4 plates on the table and 2 extra chairs because that's what we had. We didn't fill them with coats or presents. We let them be empty. Maya taped constellation stickers to the back of one and said, it looks like space. We baked 1 pie instead of 3. Eli dumped too many sprinkles on a tray of sugar cookies and called it snow. We put a string of lights around the window and one around the banister. It wasn't silent. It was quiet in the way I had forgotten holidays could be. After dinner, we did presents. No elaborate piles, just the things we had budgeted for. A watercolor set for Maya. Soccer socks for Eli. A book for Alex he wanted and wouldn't buy himself. A sweater for me that Maya picked because it looked soft like a cat. They were small and they were exactly right. Maya handed me a folded paper. She had drawn our living room and labeled it Our Family. There were 4 stick figures on a couch and a big, square, empty chair with stars around it. For when people come, she said. I put the drawing on the fridge with a magnet that says, paid in full. I glanced at my phone once. There were messages in the family thread. Photos. People around a table. The same old plaid. No one wearing a fox. One caption said, we missed you with a heart. I let it sit. Later, I printed the photo the photographer had taken of the 4 of us. In it, Eli is laughing with his mouth open. Maya is looking at the camera like she knows a secret. My hair is doing a weird thing and I don't care. I put it in a simple frame and set it on the mantle. Under it, I slid the screenshot of the paused transfer into a folder in the drawer with passports and birth certificates. Not to gloat, to remember, to have proof for myself that I did the thing I said I would do. In January, I set up a new line item in our budget. Family treats $150 a month. Cookies, photos, things for us. It felt small and huge at the same time. A week after New Year's, Dad called. He sounded tired. We got the tax penalty, he said. It hurt. I'm sorry, I said, and I meant it. Your mother wanted me to ask, he said, if you could start the transfer again. I won't, I said. If you want help organizing bills, I can spend an afternoon at your house. I'll bring a notebook. I'll help you call the utility company and set up a payment plan. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, let me think, and hung up. Jenna came by with leftover cinnamon rolls. We sat at the table, feet tucked on chair rungs, and ate with our fingers. The kids built a city out of boxes in the living room. Alex took the trash out and came back in with snow on his eyebrows. It wasn't anything dramatic. It was everything. I don't know what next Christmas will look like. I know what this one did. I didn't buy my way into a photo. I didn't earn a place by balancing someone else's books. I put my kid's drawing on my fridge and called it art. I put our photo on the mantle and called it proof. When I think about my mom saying, "You don't really fit the photo," I feel something unclench instead of clench. Maybe I finally believed her. We didn't fit their photo, so we made one where we did. And when Dad yelled, "What family account?" and I said, "The one I'm pausing," I wasn't being cruel. I was turning off a tap and sitting down at my own table.